You've seen the dreamy beaches, the vibrant rice fields, and the magical temples of Bali all over social media. But you may have also seen some scary news headlines over the past few years that make you wonder if Bali is safe to travel to. In this video, you're going to learn exactly why I felt a lot of anxiety over my safety while I was in Bali. I hope this will help you to make the decision on if Bali is the right destination for you. The main reason I felt unsafe in Bali is due to the island's placement on the Pacific Rim of Fire, meaning there is a significant risk for natural disasters. You are probably familiar with the Mount Aegon eruptions a few years ago and may have even been one of the thousands of travelers that had to cancel their trip.
Tonight, as towers of choking smoke and thick ash billow into Bali's air, the race is on to evacuate 100,000 people.
The unpredictability and fact that you can't really do anything is what makes natural disasters so terrifying to me. I had this reoccurring nightmare while I was staying in Bali where there was a tsunami that was approaching shore and I couldn't escape, so I would just call my family to say goodbye. Depressing, I know. I went in 2019 and did not experience any significant earthquakes or eruptions, but I did wake up to an ash-filled sky and smoky air from mini eruptions, as well as multiple tremors that I felt throughout the month, very different from my current wake-up call. The road conditions in Bali are also dangerous. Roads are not well maintained and the traffic is chaotic. Streets are filled with aggressive drivers trying to get ahead and inexperienced tourists on motorbikes. It absolutely blows my mind how common it is for tourists in Southeast Asia to rent a motorbike despite having no experience driving one or driving on the roads in the country that they're visiting. I work for a company that offers travel insurance, and if you saw the accident stats, oof, terrifying. I didn't rent a motorbike during my month-long stay in Canggu, but was surprised by how nervous I was getting even just going into the tour minibuses. Drivers would take roads in and out of tourist hotspots on roads that would in no way accommodate for two-way traffic. Picture a windy, narrow pathway with a meter-high drop-off on both sides into the surrounding rice fields. Now picture not one, but 3 vehicles that are flipped from driving off the edge of the exact road that you are on. Walking was also not a safe alternative. There were either no sidewalks, which meant you were sharing the road with heavy traffic, or the sidewalks were not walkable. There would be electrical wires hanging down and large holes with no barriers to block them off or notify pedestrians that they're even there. The beaches on the southwest coast of Bali, so popular areas like Canggu, Seminyak, and Kuta, are well known for having dangerous undertows and rip currents. Dangerous beaches were marked with red flags, but there weren't any lifeguards around when I was there, so people would just swim anyway. And I guess the ocean was never a huge fear for me because I never went in it. Hearing stories from other swimmers and then seeing firsthand just how strong these currents were made the risk not worth it. I was also worried about the animals, monkeys and dogs in particular. I used to think that if you just ignore them, they will ignore you, but this was not the case in Bali. Monkeys are so used to being around humans that they have no trouble coming right up to you, climbing on you, and in an effort to take your food and sunglasses, potentially even scratching or biting you. One of the most popular attractions in Bali is Ubud's monkey forest. Now, I did not like the monkey forest, which is home to about 1,000 uncaged monkeys, as well as hundreds of tourists that walk through their territory on a daily basis. If you don't want monkeys climbing on you, I would definitely skip the monkey forest, but even when you're outside of this forest, just in the main tourist areas, there are monkeys everywhere. Like much of Southeast Asia, street dogs are also everywhere. Now, they can be cute, they can also be unpredictable, aggressive, and potentially even carry diseases. I make an effort to avoid street dogs after watching a friend be bitten by one in Vietnam and have to go through 4 different rounds of rabies shots. My worst experience in Bali was walking home from a conference at night in Nusa Dua. It was only a 5-minute walk, but was pretty stupid to do alone at night. I put myself in this situation. The guest house that I was staying in was at the end of an alleyway. So I turn down the alley, I get to the guest house, and I realize the gate is locked. I start hearing some scratching and snarling, and then barking, behind me, and there were 5 dogs that started to approach me. I couldn't get past them to get out, and I had my back against a locked gate. This wasn't just one of my worst experiences in Bali, but was probably one of my scariest travel moments. I didn't have an alarm on me, I didn't have a whistle on me, also dumb. And then when I screamed, they lunged at me. I felt completely helpless. I ended up just lying down in the fetal position, covering my head while they barked and circled me. I got extremely lucky in that all of the barking ended up getting the guest house manager to hear something was going on and come outside banging together 2 garbage can lids. The dogs took off. I went into my guest house and everything was fine. My own dog, a golden doodle that is still a puppy, does much more damage jumping up and biting me than these dogs did, but it was still an extremely terrifying experience. Also not unique to Bali would be the mosquitoes. I found them to be particularly bad when I went inland into Ubud. I was covering myself with chemicals and still getting bites. Due to the high risk of dengue fever and Zika in Bali, every bite had me on edge. Another reason I felt anxious and on edge in Bali, I know this is a long list, is due to the crime. High rates of petty crime unfortunately come with the territory when you happen to be one of the world's most popular tourist destinations. ATM scams, bag snatching, and pickpocketing are big problems in tourist areas of Bali. Myself, as well as another traveler in the group that I was with, had our cards skimmed by the same ATM. You never really know if the ATMs are just empty or if they've been tampered with, as both are incredibly common in Bali. So to wrap this up, is Bali safe? I don't know, probably about as safe as any other Southeast Asia tourist destination, or anywhere for that matter. Even where I am right now in Ottawa, Canada, Canada's capital, there are shootings and stabbings on a monthly basis. You just don't hear about them. So many people have either been to Bali or they want to go to Bali, so it ends up being a popular topic of discussion among travelers. I heard a ton of stories, both good and bad, before I traveled there. Unfortunately, like with most things, it's the bad ones that stuck. Couple this with the fact that Bali has been in the news for multiple different disasters, bringing the question of safety in Bali even more to the forefront. In an effort to keep myself as safe as possible, I did more research than I have ever done before traveling to a destination. I researched and became hyper aware of every possible thing that could go wrong. So yes, of course I was nervous while I was in Bali, considering I was scared before I even got on the plane to go there. I didn't have the luxury of being naive to these risks, and I find that the more I travel, the more nervous I get before each new destination. So in Bali, the risks are definitely real. But the stress level that I felt during the month-long stay was probably not needed and definitely impacted my experience on the island. The unfortunate thing is that I don't even know if I would go back. I mean, maybe if a friend was having a bachelorette there or something like that, but just on my own when I could go anywhere, Bali is not top of the list. I think I just know too much. And then also with the natural disasters, even though those tremors I felt were harmless, it really freaks me out. Anyway, I'd love to gather some opinions down in the comments. Is Bali somewhere that you've been and would you go back? Or is it somewhere that you want to go? Let us know. Also, please don't forget to give this video a quick like, as it really does support my channel and I really appreciate it. Have a great week and I'll see you back here for another travel video soon. Thanks. Bye.